Following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope for one of the rare times here in the 2026 area iRacing campaign, we take our talents to Daytona International Speedway, but not on the 33 degrees of banking on the 2.5 mile oval. We're taking it to the infield. Something NASCAR did for a few seasons post-COVID, trying out the Clash and eventually doing a few points races here. The Daytona road course will be an interesting place for these next-gen cars to tackle, and we're looking forward to doing it area style with some of the best drivers here on the iRacing service. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Area Cup Series, brought to you by the Studio Temporary, as this season is coming to a close. We are closing in on the chase, and things are going to get very, very exciting. Going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the truck. I do have a different voice here. I believe you've heard him once on this with this league before. Cody Bird helping me out with the calls as Brad is out of state doing some big boy work stuff. So Cody, next gen cars at Daytona, that is normal. Taking them into the infield, not so much. Cody?
Sorry, Corey, I was muted. I thought I was just talking to myself. But no, yeah, when you think of Daytona Road Course, you think of something where you will see prototypes, LMP3s or LMP2s and GT3s. Today you're going to see the Cup cars, which should be an interesting race. Obviously, these cars are going to be a little loose going around some of the corners, and it should make for a great race here today.
Yeah, we are running, of course, on the Daytona road course, but however, we aren't running on the traditional, well, rather, let me take that back. We're not running on the NASCAR variant here. We are running on the Au Naturel, the normal version that all the 24 hours and the professional racing is done on. Of course, NASCAR did implement the kind of bus stop of sorts at the end of the racetrack in turn number 4. It would be right around here. I don't really have a good camera for it, unfortunately, but they basically created a hairpin, a chicane, because they were nervous, Cody, about how fast these stock cars would be driving from this bus stop on the back straightaway and into turn 1. They were worried about the speed. They wanted to slow them down, but here in the sim, we don't have to worry about those issues.
Yeah, there's no issues in regards to that. Obviously, these cars are virtual cars, so somebody going into turn 1 is not going to have to worry about potential danger. Of course, from what I've been seeing so far here in qualifying and practice, they're hitting speeds of up to 206, 207 miles an hour entering the first corner. So it should be quite fast to go from 207 down to 60. So it should be entertaining here going into turn 1.
Absolutely. And of course, area series known to have some of the upper echelon talent. Look at those brake rotors glowing into the bus stop on the back straightaway, and having them glow in the daytime says something, because they usually don't get that hot, at least visibly, where we can see it during the daytime. But let's go on board here with James Scioli. And let's see, again, this is right here where they would normally pull off to the inside. Ah, come on, James. We were looking to get a speed trap, but he's going to come into pit. He's already run his lap time, and as you can see, 5th on the pylon. Van Drugmond, who is our dominator, Cody, he is just... he really has done no wrong this season outside of maybe one incident. I think he's won 4 races, going for 5, and right now he has at least 2.5 tenths on the field.
Yeah, he is setting some blistering laps. Obviously, when you see names such as Dylan Alt, Logan Helton, Sebastian Marin, Jake Nichols, these are all guys that run in the Coke Series on Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night. So to be on top of those guys, that is quite impressive here early in this qualifying session.
Absolutely. Here
or late in the qualifying session. Sorry.
No, you're good. Now we'll wrap this up, and of course we want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button, and of course if you're watching on the Area iRacing Twitch, consider hitting the follow button over there, and consider donating for $5 a month. Get yourself your double points custom emotes, and eventually those double points will turn into some free merch. But now we will have a warm-up, which is a good opportunity to bring up the point standings here, where James Scioli is up by 17 over Seth Noel. And then you can see in that yellow font on the bottom, that is where they are to the cut line. Chase coming up right around the corner, because after this race, we only have Kansas and Talladega before we start our chase in early July. And you can see once you get down there to Frankie Barroso, Reese Schaefer, Michael Curhan, only a few points there over that cut line. So they will have to watch out. And kind of, I mean, just knowing that, Cody, knowing that you have a road course and Talladega as your three races, two of the three leading you to the chase, that certainly is a high pressure situation.
Yes, a very high situation, Corey. Of course, road courses are not for everybody, i.e., I'll be one to support that claim. But yes, road courses can sometimes not be a driver's best friend, and then you go into the lottery ticket that is Talladega. So these guys have to be on the top of their game here today, because anything can happen at Talladega.
Anything can and will happen. Of course, we have underwent a build update on iRacing. Not much has really changed here, but Cody, we were talking about this off air. I know you partake in a lot of the road racing enduros with your group of friends there. Since NASCAR came here, as Travis Beckner struggling exiting the pits, we'll have to pause that thought because they have just bumped the warm-up. So we're going to head down trackside for that PTR TV and Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. Of course, if you're looking for a new shed, new trailer, or Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, serving a plethora of Florida customers for 30 years with large home floor plan shed designs and Triple Crown trailers. Head to LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring to check them out at centralmobilehomesinc.com. But we're going to lead up for a shortened pace lap. We'll see if we get one or two out of this. We'll find out. But let's give you that starting lineup. It's going to be Van Drugman on the front row with Dylan Alt in P2, Logan Helton in third, Sebastian Marin in the fourth spot. Fifth, we have James Scioli with Michael Curhan rocking the area hat in sixth, Frankie Barroso in seventh, the Moose, Patrick Moose in eighth, and rounding out our top 10, Drew Jua and Jake Nichols.
Yeah, starting 11 is going to be AJ Stravato, and starting 12th is going to be Reese Schaefer. Starting 13th from Orlando, Florida is going to be Jacob Harberts, and starting 14th is Seth Noel from Richmond, Virginia. Starting 15th in the Full Force 88 is going to be Joseph Causey, and starting 16th is Dave Weishart in the 29. Starting 17th is going to be David Brown, and starting 18th is going to be Josh Cadell. And rounding out the top 20 is going to be Lake Bradshaw in 19th, and then 20th is going to be Justin Levine.
And that is a name I recognize here on PTR TV. First time seeing him in area, to my knowledge. Hayden Swank in 21st, Seth Berger in 22nd, Tyler Nichols 23rd, Brent Punkari, the Canadian, in 24th. Then we have Bryce Senesac and Connor Horn in row 13. Justin Anasogak, Jarrett Talmadge, he's close to the chase bubble, so that starting spot's not going to help his causes out. Rounding up the top 30, Garrett Grant and Brandon Watkins, and just letting the rest of them scroll on through. We do have about three drivers who have not taken to the grid. There's the boss, there's Ryan Swan, Hooper Newbigging, Rocky Boyd, Travis Beckner, our Hendry County flagman, Zach Carr, Ben Pierce, Max Service, and Nerney and Newbigging, at least at this time, have not taken to the grid. But this is what I wanted to talk about prior to the grid there, Cody. These sausage curbs, these are new. Of course, no grass anymore as a plane lands. No grass, but we have the new 3D updated curbing as well as those sausage curbs.
Yeah, those sausage curbs, if you hit those at the wrong spot, it's going to send your car in a way that you were not expecting. I haven't raced the next-gen car here, but I have felt that curb in a GT3, which these cars are very comparable to, and it is just not fun to hit it, Corey. If you hit it, there's a very good chance you may be ending up in the wall, but then again, who knows with these next-gen cars, they have a mind of their own sometime.
Yeah, but of course the underbody will certainly not enjoy itself there, getting likely some damage, and at a track that has this much pace. Now, iRacing does actually emulate brake temperature. They did update a new braking model, I want to say maybe a year or two ago, so technically the more brake heat you do develop, I don't think there's actual brake damage involved, but it will put some heat into those tires, which can affect the handling. And again, in the real world, they would have been entering this turn one dive off, Cody, maybe about 60 miles an hour shorter than we are here today. Or slower, I should say.
Yes, as I mentioned, going into that corner at 206 is what I saw on somebody's speed trap. That is quite a bit of speed to be going into a corner. Then comparison, before they were hitting speeds anywhere between 150 and 160, so it is quite a lot faster. It's going to be very interesting to see how they play it going in side by side on this opening lap once they take the green. And
it is worth noting too what they called the esports line. You can see the right of that painted line there, that lighter concrete kind of runoff pavement. That was what they called the esports line. Of course, if you ever want to see something that isn't supposed to be done, go watch one of the top tier iRacing broadcasts, and they'll tell you every little nuance in the service. So they did run wide there. iRacing did patch that in, so you won't see drivers, to my knowledge, running that wide anymore. I do think they've also implemented some penalties there as well.
Yes, that's what I believe I have heard as well, that with the way that they have updated some things, obviously we kind of talked about earlier, the pit road speed now is a lot more finicky as well, and with it being a road course, there is no full course cautions that will occur based off the iRacing service, so we will get green flag pit stops, and it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers kind of approach that. Are they going to brake earlier, or are they going to be right on the line entering pit road? In about 25 laps is what was said.
Yeah, well, it'll be likely. I'm just going to heed to the message that I did read from admin. So potentially 2 stops. We are doing 42 laps, so 20 to 22 laps. Cody, we know we talked at Pocono in our race last night that a 3-lap variance in Pocono is 7.5 miles. Here, let's just remind ourselves of the distance, 3.5 miles. So that 3-lap difference that we were told, that's almost 10 miles of on-track lap just distance. That's a lot of time to save, and I'm not sure how much you can save here at Daytona with as much on-throttle time as there is.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot of opportunities to save tires once you get rolling, or fuel at the same point. You are constantly on the gas. Even the corners are kind of those fast sweeping corners, and you won't have a real big opportunity to save fuel when you're at full bore.
So yeah, we'll see how this works out. And in terms of EOLs, we got the 29 and the 65 going to the rear of the field here today. So we'll see how this does shake out. But again, we're going to be driving very, very quickly into turn number 1 here in a race that'll be about 75 minutes or so. And we will not have an interruption of any caution flags here. No full course yellows, no stages. Just an au naturel road race here at the Daytona road course area. Drivers strong, 40 drivers here taking to the grid as we get ourselves ready for a road race that will help solidify our chase lineup here in the Studio Temporary Cup Series. Who will be the master of the road and who will be counting the minutes to Kansas next week? Well, let's find out. Barney's going to get him waving. We're into the start zone, and The only next flag Barney's going to wave is the checkers. There's the green, and we'll see you in 42 laps.
Going into turn one, already side by side going into that corner, already seeing speeds about 120 entering the corner, and so far they keep it clean going through 1 and 2.
Now here is the tough part, going through the S's here, which is a very narrow part of the track, and now you head into the first slow right-hand corner here at the Daytona Road Course, the International Horseshoe. Thus far, the majority of the field seeming to get through cleanly, and now we'll head through into the dog leg, which is a very, very tricky corner. You feel like it should be flat out, but in a next-gen car, it certainly isn't. And now, Cody, we head to the West Horseshoe, which is a much sharper right-hand corner, as they're 3 wide in the back.
Yeah, normally this is where you see most of the action. As you mentioned, 3 wide is not going to work going through this corner. But so far they have kept it clean going through the corners here. But this is the corner that you may see some action later on in the race with side-by-side racing and some beating and banging as they go through oval 1 and 2 onto the long back straightaway into the Le Mans chicane.
Everyone doing a great job, but here we go up front. Van Drugman has the lead. Dylan Alt wants it into the Le Mans chicane. Again, hop in the curbs. Don't get too far to the inside. There's penalties to be given with time. There's also the sausages for the slowdowns. But let's just get a take here, as I don't think there's anything of note. This is where I want to get a speed check. Dylan Alt in the tow here. And we're not peeling off here to go to the inside. You can see the markings even to the inside of the racetrack. But here we go, 200, 201. Where is he backing off, Cody?
Yeah, wherever he backs off, it's right after the start-finish line. You saw speeds of 207. Obviously, there's no restrictor or taper spacer, as there's contact there as Dylan Alt takes the lead, but it looks like Van Drugman's going to fight right back and to retake the lead.
On the outside there, and a little bit of contact, a little bit of wiggling out of the way for Dylan Alt, as he will not take over the lead, but that little skirmish has brought in Logan Helton and Sebastian Marin. And another point to bring up, Cody, of course, I believe someone fact-checked me. The last time we ran here, I want to say it was 2022, as here's Sebastian Marin with a dive into the International Horseshoe. We didn't have... Did we run here in the next-gen era? Actually, I'll have you stop there first. Or did we only run here in Gen 6?
I believe it was only Gen 6. No, it was Gen 7 because Christopher Bell won in the next-gen car, I believe.
So that would have been 2023, but either way, to say we have not run here with this package, Cody. We are running the road course package here in the next gen, which is a 750 horsepower minimal diffuser package. So that means they have less downforce than they would have had in 2023 with more horsepower and the longest straight line, well, flat out stretch that these next gens will ever go to. I mean, 208 miles an hour. We see that at Michigan in the draft, but we aren't slowing down to 70 at Michigan.
Yeah, to go from that type of speeds, as you can see here, Sebastian Marin looking to make a pass on Logan Helton going into turn 1. And just a drop of speed is so quick going into this corner. You got to make sure you're hitting your brake markers perfect, as you see side by side between the 29 and I believe that is the 99 car, or 28 and
Beckner
99.
And Hooper getting loose there on the binders, which that was one of our keys to the race that we did not get to go over, although we kind of already alluded to most of it. Manage the rear tires because of that horsepower, the low speeds down to 30 some odd 40 miles an hour in some sections, and then back up to terminal velocity here in these next gens. Got to watch those rear tires, 22-ish laps on fuel, and of course those sausage curbs. But here's Logan Helton and Marin going at it. I don't know who the passer and the passee is. I know Marin was 4th, and here he's setting him up for a crossover, exiting the infield.
Yeah, and that was almost a perfect crossover there. He was almost able to complete the pass back in oval 1 and 2. And again, you want to get in the slipstream here going down the backstretch. With it being so long, you want to go into that corner, and you want to make sure that you're able to get kind of a read on the car in front of you. Oh, that is a very late break point but it's going to work for him. No contact made, but he does hit that sausage curb, and you can see how that car just does not like it, and it shoots up on one side.
Well, what I was looking at right there was we were almost at the point, Cody. There's got to be someone in the field who's probably doing it. We'll check it with the leader maybe, but we almost had 200 miles an hour into the back chicane as well. So 208 into turn 1, and then 200 into the back. So that is just absolutely crazy stuff. It makes you wonder and understand why NASCAR did what they did. Again, that NASCAR chicane, which we are omitting. But here is Lake Bradshaw, not Terry, underneath Justin Lemine. This is for the 17th spot. And Bradshaw will drive in deep, but he'll make the spot. And now, with an optimistic dive, Connor Horn, and Bradshaw, I don't know if he overshot the corner or he just wanted to save himself from pure death, but he just got out of the way.
Yeah, and something else. Oh, and there's contact in here in the first horseshoe between a couple drivers. But something else to consider, looking at the braking points that they are kind of having, and that was in the international horseshoe. My apologies. No, that's not international.
Oh,
one of them.
Causey in the grass there, exiting the dog leg. Oh, who is off track there? That's Drew Jua, and now Joseph Causey off. And
this is getting interesting, Corey.
While this is a road course, it can't rain here. Next gen, we don't have a rain tire, so we cannot say it's because the track is wet. But let's see what happened to Causey. Causey just he had contact there on the crossover with AJ Stravato, but now let's just see what happened to Drew in the 95. He was battling behind the Moose there. He's still in a good spot. I think he got interested in a dive there. The opportunity didn't present, overshot it, and actually Moose went to the grass too.
Yeah, and what I was about to say, Corey, was it was kind of impressive how the braking points are very similar to that of a GT3 car here. Obviously, the GT3 car is meant more for road courses more than the next gen, and as I mentioned, the next gen is kind of modeled after a GT3, but the brake points are the same, and they're carrying a lot more speed than they do in a GT3.
Oh, there is Helton locking up. He's like Akon. He's locked up into turn number 1. I don't know the next line of the song. I wish I did. It would make the joke a lot better. But Sebastian Marin going into P3.
Yeah, and that was another part where you just make your pass, where you kind of see it. Obviously, Sebastian Marin in the Kyle Busch doublemint throwback scheme here at Daytona Road Course. And he's going to start setting sail past Logan Helton and clearing this way.
Now, we do want to thank our YouTube chat, Jason Race in chat with the super chat. And this guy, Cody, he actually paid to tell you that you're wrong. It was 2021 was when Christopher Bell won here, and it was in the Gen 6. So, because you remember, they did run here. I want to say it was the 2019 All-Star, the 2019 Clash, 2020, I think in 2021 were points races. But I'll allow chat to correct me on that because I can't fact check myself while doing this broadcast. But here are Caudell and Stravato going side by side through NASCAR 1 and 2, and we'll see who has the cajones entering the Le Mans chicane.
Yeah, and this is a point who's going to break first and who's not. And it looks like they're going to go side by side. And oh boy. And then we got a spinner right behind.
That's AJ Stravato off, and that's probably going to be a time cut penalty for Drew Jua as well. I would be very surprised if he doesn't get a time cut penalty there, but let's go back and see what happened to Stravato, even though we kind of caught it live. He didn't have the bun, peppers, and onions, but he ate some sausage right there.
That was a very good pun there, Corey. I appreciate that. But yes, and as you can see through the field, we are starting to get more side-by-side racing as this race progresses, which is actually really impressive.
Oh, no, the Moose!
Oh, boy.
And we saw that one. Somebody else going off-circuit as well. And now he is just dead center in one of the most narrow sections of the racetrack right here. There's Garrett Grant struggling to get by, but finally able to do so. But we are just catching all the calamity live, Cody.
Yeah, this like we mentioned, the tires are just falling off. And here you're going to see the replay of the 45 of Patrick Moose just gets on the gas a little too early. No other contact.
Oh no, who was that blue car? I think that may be Cole Hooper if I'm not mistaken, but that was a pretty good bit of contact there entering the opening S's. But going and checking on our leaders, and Van Drugman still leading, but not by much. He's extended his lead just to skosh. Sebastian has cleared Logan Helton for third. Let's pull up the lap times on the ticker for you as they update. And you'll see technically Dylan Alt a skosh faster. Sebastian about a half second off. And look down there in P5, James Scioli fastest on the track. Problem for him is he's 5 seconds off the lead right now.
Yeah, and that's another thing with this track is going to be track position. Obviously, we're already starting to see some errors and mistakes happening, and that's an opportunity to capitalize. And like we mentioned with the rear tires, you're going to want to save that for a longer run here. As we mentioned, it can either be a one-stop or two-stop race, and it's going to be interesting to see how these guys play it. Who's going to burn off their tires quick and want to pit and get some new ones? As you see right there on screen, somebody goes wide.
Oh, and, whoa! Drew Jua and Jacob Harbert's there. If you want some action, look for that 96 Publix car. We find it right on the track here. And again, our cameras here today, our cool drone cams, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. A lot of his road course cameras are fabulous here. We'll watch some cool drones as we enjoy today's 42-lapper at the Daytona road course. Still about an hour or so of racing, which, Cody, I mean, oval racers, we're used to races about 90 minutes, 2 hours, but, you know, even in the real world, you get yourself a 5-10 minute breather under a stage break. But Russell in a next-gen car for about an hour and a half, that is, especially with direct drive, that actually is quite the physical ask for a lot of these drivers.
Yes, it definitely is. Direct drive definitely makes it feel like you're in the car. And something else that you need to have is mental fortitude. It's very easy, as you can see there, the 22 car going off track.
That is Brandon Watkins, In-N-Out Burger. He went wide in the dogleg. You can see the skid marks there. He's not the first to do that. Had the dirt on his tires, had too much speed. Well, that's a kind of a parallel impact to the wall. I don't think that one should be too much that he can't handle. In the pits right now, we do have Ryan Swan, which will make a terrible ad read for Blue Tip Pool Builders. But our sponsor car is not in good working order right now. And we do have a trigger of the events that have led to his faux pas. Oh, he did more than that because he already has the damage, but and that's one of those corners, Cody, where it's not just a slow speed corner that you're trying to get as much as you can. It's one of those sections of track where it's very bumpy as well, and actually there may be a part 2 to this Ryan Swan saga.
Oh, looks like he goes off there, gets back on track, locks it up, and it... Oh.
Yeah.
I was waiting for a car to hit him there.
Well, again, if you... No, go ahead, Cody.
No, yeah. I just with the damage he had, I was fully expecting to see a car come through and clobber him. But going back to what you were saying, Corey, and what I was saying earlier, the mental fortitude needed, it can be very easy to space out when you're running around this track just because you're doing lap after lap, and it's a faster road course, so you have to keep focused the entire time.
Absolutely. And again, we want to thank Jason Race in our super chat again with the $10. Very much appreciated, sir. Hoping for Boyd Motorsports, 1747, 80, and 99. Well, Cole Hooper hasn't been doing well, but Dylan Alt is looking to do quite dandily right now. Look at that dragging there on Van Drugman. That's slowing him down. It's a fixed setup. It's happening to everybody. But now looking to the outside, pulling him with the side draft, and now the Cajones into turn 1 at 205 miles an hour.
Yeah, again, this is one who's going to lift first, and it looks like Dylan Alt is, but it looks like he's trying to set up that corner to get the run off, kind of diamonding that first corner as we go through the S's and into the first horseshoe.
James Scioli, he is closing in and making a move. Whoa, contact there with Helton, who's now in the grass. He'll get back on track there, and now the dirt on his tires, the dirt on the track, which will affect the grip for others as well. Let's check that out here on our top-down-ish perspective. He was loose, and again, he hopped the curb kind of into Scioli's path there.
Yeah, that's a good old-fashioned iRacing incident there. No contact really made until it was too late. But something else to kind of look at, it looked like I saw, nope, it was just a reflection off the paint scheme. Disregard that comment there, Corey. But yes, we're starting to see some comers and goers in this field.
Yes, we are, and Dylan Alt seems to be coming in little bursts right now. He is faster. A lot of that is the draft, but he is faster in certain segments of the track, but then Van Drugman has it in others. Sebastian not making any headway, but someone who is making headway, well, at least a little bit. Scioli up to 4th right now. Right now we do have Drew. What did I say? If you want to find something on track, look for Drew Jua. You will find it. He's battling with Jacob Harberts here. This is for the 10th spot, right on each other's doors through the bus stop. Well, not on each other's doors, for bumper to bumper. And that was some major curb time.
Yes, that is what happens when you take a very heavy car and run it over a bump. But as you can see here, Dylan Alt trying to set up Van Drugman again for a pass for the lead.
And here is Noel and Seth Knoll, part of me. I always say it wrong. Knoll getting surpassed by Jake Nichols in the 7th spot right near. Connor Horn losing a spot to Travis Beckner, who you can catch him at Hendry County Motorsports Park on Saturday. Well, that's not the ideal entry to the corner there. Made a pass, but too quickly into the corner, falls back. But check him out in Clewiston, Florida, off Highway US 27 in Florida, the southernmost dirt track in America. And see some good dirt track racing at Hendry County, and he will be on the flag stand there. Again, HendryRacing.com. And, well, I don't want to say surprisingly, but even throughout the field here is Rocky Boyd having some issues, but there's some good racing all through this pack. Side-by-side racing. Really, everywhere you look, there's some battle going on.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of racing actually happening here, and that can also be attributed to what the admins put together for the fixed set. It makes it interesting. Everybody's on an equal playing ground going into this race, and it's not setup shop for setup shop, which sometimes can lead to spread out racing. But so far, very good racing, especially for the lead.
Yeah, we did not check out our weather conditions here today, brought to you by Blue Tip Pool Builders. 84 in the air, 116 track temp. That is pretty toasty here. We are racing live out of today's real world date of June 15th. So no chance of a night race here. Of course, Daytona does have a fully lit interior road course here, and they did run the night race here in one of those clashes. I think it was the clash where Blaney and was it Elliott spun out on that NASCAR chicane, and I think Kyle Busch stole it. I know that one was under the lights. Testing my racing encyclopedia here with a very knowledgeable chat to prove me wrong. Drew Jua and the 80 both wide here.
Drew Jua so far has been kind of the show.
Forget Jimmy Spencer. Drew Jua is now the Mr. Excitement here. And he just went in hot and heavy there into the corner. And Jacob Harberts, I think he was probably mirror driving, saying, oh poop, I don't want to get contact. And I think he drove himself deep in the process. Yeah,
that definitely has looked like what had happened there. But that also brings in the 13 of Josh Cadell into this battle, making it a 3-car battle. And what you're going to start seeing more and more is people who used up their tires early. And I think we're seeing 2 of them, as it looked like they were on their back bumpers of one another. But look here, Corey, we may have another battle for the lead coming out of the Le Mans chicane.
Oh, whoa. Little bit of contact there to the rear bumper. Not enough to upset the 56, but this is the closest he's been, and now he's to the inside of Van Drugman. This is the first real challenge that Dylan Alt has, and now here's the kicker. They're going to side draft each other through the NASCAR oval there, Cody. And again, it's going to be another brass cajones battle into turn 1.
Yeah, side by side at 208 miles an hour. who is going to be the first to lift. And it does not look like either is ready to sacrifice as they get on the brake pedal at the same time. And Dylan Alt is going to go through that corner and take the lead here on lap 12.
Now here is my very glaring curiosity now. Is Van Drugman going to slowly just decay off into the wasteland, or is he going to be able to learn something, maybe cool the tires off and stay with Dylan Alt for a charge? Well, just off of instant reaction, it looks like Dylan Alt may drive himself into just into oblivion here, because just off of those few corners, Cody, he's already pulled 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, Dylan Alt looks like he has saved most of his rear tires for the end of this run, which is very impressive after what seemed like a 5 to 6 lap battle between the two of them. But coming out of this back onto oval 1 and 2, Dylan Alt has opened up three-quarters of a second lead here on Van Drugman, and Sebastian Marin 7 seconds behind that. So those two guys are so far the class of the field here today, Corey.
Absolutely. As we go back and look at Michael Curhan, who's in the 6th spot, he is trailing with Logan Helton, who has slightly engaged his Alicia Keys mode as he keeps on falling. Was about 4th, now back to 7th, and just behind him is Frankie Barroso, who is starting to make a little bit of charge here through the field. This is all 6th on back, and something happened to Van Drugman. He had an issue in the bus stop. See what happened. Well, he believed he could fly. He tried to touch the sky, and unfortunately, it ended in a little bit of a spin. For the 56, puts him from leading this race down to P4, and again, no chance of a reprieve, no chance of a caution. But again, he is, pertaining to the point standings, Van Drugman is 4th. Now, we are going into the reset in 3 races, Cody. He still has plenty of buffer, but it doesn't matter where you are, even with 70 points of buffer. You don't want to risk a bad race here if his race starts to fall apart, and then also still have Talladega in the thing. So he's got to, dust it off and keep that car in good spot.
Yeah, and something that's going to come into play now is if he was trying to cool the tires after that spin over there, it's not going to end well. But we're 3 wide through the International Horseshoe, and that's not going to work out normally, but it looks like they settled it on track.
And that is Frankie Barroso, who just moved up. Logan Helton now struggling to remain in the top 10. He'll be looking... Oh, who is that? That is Jacob Bell, who he was going for the ultimate shortcut here. He almost spun off into the other section of the track, running all by his lonesome here. Yeah, I mean, that is locked up to the nth degree. Again, luckily for him, we don't have flat spots. Hashtag soon, because he was certainly heading with a full head of steam into turn 1.
Yeah, and something that may come into play is what you're seeing with these guys, that tires are officially unalived at this point. They may make this a 2-stop strategy. If they were to pit right about here, they can make it on 2 stops and kind of get some fresh tires, make up some lap time, and then repit. But again, it's a very long track here, Corey, so it's a lot of time to make up after pitting.
Absolutely. We'll see who draws first blood, as we're still very early, still looking at about an hour of on-track action here, about 50 minutes, as we still have 28 laps to go, which at around about 1:46 a lap, we're down about 2 seconds from when we qualified. Let's find some other battles throughout the pack. Jarrett Talmadge, again, he is trying to preserve his playoff implications here, so he's back in 20th, trying to find what he can get. David Brown there. And Justin Levine, you didn't win the race, bro. No time for donuts. Let's see what happened. Turn 1. Oh.
Just overcooked it.
Just like a steak ordered from a chain restaurant, he overcooked it.
And that's not a good steak either, Corey. I've had a few of those in my life, and
Actually, I guess from a
needs to
chain
have-
restaurant, it's either overcooked or it's completely mooing. Very seldom do you actually get a proper one. I will say Texas
Yes.
Roadhouse, my local one, does better, but even they have their moments. But anywho, speaking of steaks, what goes well on a steak is going well off the track. Frankie Barroso. Holy, I didn't know that was a curb. Or that must have been a transition in pavement there. I think he wheel hopped it a little bit there. Sausage. There he ate sausage. And where is this? Oh, that must have been like a drainage thing there that got him to fly up there. Just talked about him making some headway, and now he's lost some of it. But I was talking about something. I got distracted. Now I'll talk about my B point and hopefully get back to my A point. Oh, first point. Rick's Hot Sauce. That goes good on steak. Head to rickshotsauce.com. They have golden garlic, Palm Beach pineapple, South Beach heat. And they are hosting a $100 prize for the Rookie of the Year here in the Area Cup Series. So head to rickshotsauce.com and put it on your hopefully perfectly well-cooked steak.
Great ad read right there, Corey. Way to go into that one. But looking at kind of how the points are shaking out early on in this race, Sebastian Marin is 8 points down to 12th. Currently in second. And the current guy ahead is Michael Turan. And so that's a way to close some of the gap here, Corey, very early on, to potentially get into a playoff position for Sebastian.
Yeah, and the best part for Sebastian, again, he is a rookie in the Coke Series this year. He has missed one race, and he is still that close because he has won once here in the Cup Series, but he's just always up there. A lot of times he's getting an EOL. He's still driving through the field. I go back to a race at Indianapolis there, Cody. This guy had an EOL at Indianapolis and drove up into the top 5 at a race that had no cautions at one of the hardest tracks to pass. That shows the skill of that number 66. And I will tell you, he is running laps faster than Dylan Alt. Look at that last time by. That was, 0.8 of a second or so.
Yes. So this is another case of where tires are coming into play, Corey. He saved his tires expecting to go the full length of this run on tires, as you see there. The 63 and the 24 that we just mentioned getting into a battle here, going into this first horseshoe. But yeah, the tires are definitely coming out to play. Oh, and you see a lockup right there. That's somebody's tires who are not happy with him right now, but now he comes back on track.
Logan Helton. And I do have to thank my co-owner here at PTR TV, Brad Dalton, who is not someone who I would expect to finish a hip-hop lyric, but I'm locked up. They don't let me down. Thank you, Brad, for helping me finish mid-2000s Akon. I'm very disappointed with myself that I had to fall back to Brad for that, but he picked me up when he's not strong because he'll be my friend. And we'll carry on. Somehow this has turned into karaoke, but anywho... I think the reason, Cody, that these drivers are having so much trouble, the dynamicism, which is a very big word for me, here at Daytona, going from such high speeds to such low speeds, and again, having to really back up your corner entries. It's a big adjustment, and you have to adjust your brake points way more here than you would in a GT4, an LMP3, an LMP1, whatever it may be. You have to scale back your entries way more than in any other road car here.
Yes, Corey, that is a very good point. Just because these cars, and you see the 96,
Mr. Excitement,
Mr. Excitement, coming back out to play with Publix, getting that sponsorship red on air quite a bit today as he's going to come back up onto corner 3. Here's the replay. He hits one of the sausage curbs, and it looks like he just sends him away. He was not expecting. Oh, that is not something you want to be pointing at. You do not want to be pointed at the lake.
No, there was one driver, I want to say, and I know I'll get fact-checked on this, and I love it that I get fact-checked on it. I want to say it was in an ARCA race at some point. Somebody actually did make it into the lake prior to them actually having walls up there as Drew going by, letting, that is Cole Hooper by. However, Cole Hooper is 4 laps down. Now, we do also have AJ Stravato and Ben Pierce retired from the race. Ryan Swan all but retired. Cole Hooper is actually, yeah, he's 4 laps down. We have Jacob Bell 1 lap down, who's exiting the pits. Brandon Watkins has gone a lap down. And the last on the lead lap in 33rd, Justin Levine. He is about 20 seconds from being a lap down. But up front, Dylan Alt, ever since he took the lead, he has held on to it and now gained a lead of about 6 seconds. But again, Sebastian is charging. Last time by 4/10. And I don't want to predict math, but I think that math can math if he continues that pace.
Yes, and something else is going to be seeing who comes to pit first. Seeing the tire fall off, we kind of already are seeing about 3 seconds so far, 18 laps into this race. If somebody pits early and can get ahead with an undercut, that could be a beneficial strategy as well, Corey.
Absolutely, and I think that is certainly going to come into play here. Again, 20 to 22 laps. I feel like everyone, though, is going to be trying to make 22, because if you can make 22, or if you can split the difference, just do 21, it's a one-stop race. It would take some level 2 math. I know that someone had told me one of the iRacing overlay softwares does do a blend feature, where it would kind of predict where you would be if you pitted on a certain lap and where you'd fall out to. I don't think the math would math enough, Cody, to do a 1-stop or a 2-stop. But either way, at this point in the race, you can't do a 1-stop or 2-stop. As somebody, that was James Scioli, I believe. Yes, I think he went a little wide. Let's see, and the... Oh, that's just... That hardly even counts, but technically, yes, he did get an off track there, but no harm, no foul.
Yes, and that's one of the ones that you do appreciate as an iRacer is you know that you're locking it up and starting to go through that grass, and you're just praying that you don't go into that tire barrier in the International Horseshoe. Spoiler alert, Corey, I've ended up in that corner a couple times in my Daytona 24 career, and that's not a fun wall to hit, so good on him for saving that car. Oh, another curve. And what you may be seeing too is the brake heat that you mentioned earlier. It's 18 laps into this run. Brakes are being mashed down to the ground, and it's probably not helping the tires.
Absolutely, it is not. It's adding, with heat. I mean, this is just science for you. As air heats up, particles bounce around more, and basically, as air heats up, your PSI goes up. So that is why Jarrett Talmadge with the wiggle, but that is why they naturally start tires at a lower temperature, because as they heat up, they build up temperature. But now as you go from, 1,500 degree brake temp down to 500, back up to 1,500, you are really pumping some heat into those tires, and that will basketball those fronts. As speaking of basketball, I think that Talmadge there must have shot a brick at some point, because look at that damage.
Yeah, that nose is caved in, and that's not going to help heat in your engine either. And it's going to require some saving of the engine. But here, we're starting to see a battle for second start to heat up between Sebastian and James.
Now, Scioli has caught up, and I mean, this was not on my bingo. Not that it wasn't on my bingo card, because Scioli is one of the best drivers, and I know in the Florida State Pro Builders Series, he dominated a few races on the road, so he is one of the upper echelon drivers. But Sebastian has the little dent in the armor, I guess. He's an amazing road racer, but Scioli might just have the +1 on him. All the while, 7 seconds and 7.5 seconds behind Dylan Alt here. We'll see with Scioli what he can do, and let's see if the speeds have changed at all, Cody, with the significant tire wear.
Yeah, so far 201, 202, maybe a mile or two an hour less, not a whole bunch, but yeah, definitely just seeing the speeds kind of stay at the same point. and it's kind of impressive that these tires are still kind of have any grip in them, because now we're down to almost 4 seconds of fall off.
And that is quite, I think Sebastian may have just had a faux pas lap that we may have missed. I think there's a caution incident that I may have missed earlier. Hayden Swank going wide and that blending back onto the oval corner. He went wide there, and there may have also been, and this is live. This is live footage. He messed up again. But Justin Anasogak, as our Benny Hill theme song reel here. Oh, he followed Brandon Watkins off the racetrack there.
Yes. Oh, I thought that was live again.
Yeah, they. Wow. Don't see that kind of wreck too. Not even a wreck. Just you don't see that kind of event happen too often. Back to live footage. Again, right at the cusp of just waiting any second for those drivers to start pulling into pit road. Scioli is there and maybe exuding a little bit of patience on Sebastian right now, knowing that pit stop is right around the corner. But maybe just pitting right here. This is a perfect situation where an undercut could have massive gains.
Yeah, and it looks like they're both going to stay out for another lap here, Corey.
Something
Dylan
else
to look. Oh, and there
race
you go.
leader.
So first to come down pit road.
Leader wants the undercut, which, I mean, he still had the best opportunity to win this race because he was the leader, but now he's going to add to that deficit. He's going to add to that gap rather than cause a deficit.
Yeah, and it's something else that I don't think that you're going to see. And there may be a strategy if somebody was to stop it, where you take 2 tires on the last stop, but with everybody kind of looking at a one-stop strategy, and pit road has now became very busy for these pit crews.
Douglas Newbigging has already pitted as well. Zach Carr in, David Brown in the attention of his crew. But here we go up front. Scioli looking to the outside, turning back into the NASCAR oval. Outside lane is not the groove you want to be, but he may be able to keep the speed up and get back into the draft, back into the tow. This is the closest he's been. This is technically for the lead now that Dylan Alt has pitted.
Yes, this is a battle for the lead here as James rides in the trail of Sebastian here going into the Le Mans chicane. And it looks like Sebastian is going to hold the lead. It's going to be interesting to see who pits this lap, who stays out another one to try to get
Sebastian
that clean air.
Ate a lot of curb there. It's going to slow his exit down. He tried to shut the door, not able to do so. Scioli had the run. David Brown being shown a black flag, so he had issues on his pit stop, but I will bet the farm they both have to pit this time by. They don't have to pit. Sebastian comes in. Scioli remains on the racetrack.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, that pit road, you just kind of saw it right there. Somebody kind of went full bore, but James stays the leader here with Seth Noel in second and Jake Nichols in third. These guys are kind of going for the overcut. Maybe that some of these guys get stuck in some traffic towards the back of the field with all the pit cycle. It will be interesting to see what happens.
Frankie Barroso in the pits, Connor Horn in the pits as well. Dylan Alt already shuffled back up to 6th. He is only 22 seconds off of the lead. Just for the sake of knowledge here on what it takes to make a full pit cycle here at Daytona. About 48 seconds that you lose making a pit stop. So the net gain only ended up being about maybe 30 seconds, the net overall difference. So we'll see what happens. But Sebastian has blended back out. Sebastian is now 10 seconds behind Dylan Alt. He was about 6.5 to 7 seconds behind Dylan Alt prior to his pit stop. So that lap and a half or so cost him about 4 seconds.
Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, so we're looking at about 4.5 seconds of fall off as Mr. Excitement is back in the field, again battling with 2 other guys.
Drew Jua battling with Joseph Causey, and then the 54 of Lake Bradshaw. Remember, he's had his fair share of issues here today. He is just behind and still waiting on Scioli. I believe he's in NASCAR 4 right now, and he will take that number 7 automobile to the attention of his crew. Somebody just pulled off. I think that was Brandon in the 22. Yeah, he just pulled over. He didn't want to impede on the 7's progress at all. Very gentlemanlike move.
Yes, that's what you like to see in a race like this. But back to the battle with Mr. Excitement here. Looks like he's going to lose 2 spots on this pass right there. He is still yet to pit, so it's going to be interesting to see. His tires seem like they are probably at the end of its life cycle.
And Dylan already back to the lead as Seth Knoll exiting his pit stall here, and a little scare there as Schaefer will blend out, and there is Jake Nichols exiting the pits. So we'll see how everybody blends out, but Dylan Alt will have a 10-second lead over Sebastian Marin as the pit stop cycle does continue. And while we are back at it here, as Van Drugman in 5th, remember he had the race led for many a lap and just slowly had issues. Led 10 laps, but is not in a race-winning spot for that 5th win of the season. But now that the pit cycle is done, we are just going to step aside for a brief break, and we'll be back with you guys to finish today's action here in the Area Cup Series. Please stay with us. All right, we are back here on PTR TV on YouTube and on the Area iRacing Twitch for the round number 10 event of the Area Cup Series, brought to you by the Studio Temporary. Corey Silva in the booth and in the truck, Cody Bird helping out with the commentary here. We just had our what should be only pit stop here on the day in the 42 laps of the Daytona road course, seeing some good action here. There's our Hendry County flagman Travis Beckner battling with Joseph Causey for the 15th spot. Just want to bring up some of our other partners that we haven't talked about. Blue Tip Pool Builders, of course, on Ryan Swan's car, who's not here. He already crashed out of the race as they are door to door. That is going to be a penalty for Travis Beckner. Oh no, 27 into the wall, exiting the bus stop.
Yeah, that would be Zach Carr, who came out of the bus stop and into the wall.
see here. All looks normal-ish. I think he missed the back end of the bus stop, and he just had too much wheel into it, and when it bit, it bit.
Yes, and that is a hard hit, and that very well may be race over for him. Something else to kind of look at here, Corey. Dylan Alt has now built his lead to 13.2 seconds. Now, obviously, we saw Sebastian Marin and James Scioli battling there right before the pit stops. James fell 5 seconds behind Sebastian after that pit stop, and only after pitting 1 lap later. So tire fall off is very real here, as this has kind of turned into a cheese grater of sort.
Yeah, you can see he's just trying to get a toe off whoever he can there. But as I said, I want to talk about Blue Tip Pool Builders, one of the partners here with the Area Series. They bring your party to life this summer with customizing your pool to your unique aesthetic. If you don't have room for a pool, they do dynamic kitchens and outdoor spaces. And they will do it with their cutting-edge technology and skilled craftsmen at bluetippools.com and get your outside and summer looking the way it needs to. Frankie Barroso in close proximity to Jake Nichols here, as we will carry on through NASCAR 3 and 4 and just getting that toe. And again, we've seen it, and we've seen a lot of drivers talking about it. The speed into turn number 1. He backed off a little earlier, maybe at start-finish, Cody. We've seen people going super deep, and we've seen it work, and we've seen many drivers run off very wide.
Yeah, and part of going into turn 1 here, Corey, is you do want to brake a little earlier carrying that type of speeds. You would rather not overshoot that corner with the tires there. We've seen a lot of guys get away with it here today, kind of adding a little extra chicane for themselves. But yes, you do not want to see that here, as we see the 77 of Seth and the 29 of David battling towards the back of the field.
Yeah, I think David just got out of the way of Seth Berger there, and 22nd and 23rd, our Season 1 Area Cup Series champion, maybe just not finding too kindly to this Daytona road course. And of course, we cover all 3 series here. Your exclusive home for Area here is PTR TV, and of course the Area iRacing Twitch. We will be live tomorrow night with the Area Truck Series, as Seth Berger going wide. What giveth will soon come backeth, as Wiseheart gets back by. But these Truck Series drivers will not have to tend here to Daytona Road. They will be headed up to Wisconsin and headed to the Milwaukee Mile. So some of these drivers run in all 3 series, and they will get to do a lot more turning left. Although, Cody, Milwaukee is not a, dare I say, common track anymore.
Yes, no, Milwaukee is still a very tough track to race at. There's one specific line you kind of have to run during the race, and if you're kind of off that line, it's not going to end very well for you most of the time. Obviously, we've seen IndyCar kind of make that comeback up at the Milwaukee Mile, so there is hope in the future to potentially see the trucks. Well, the trucks ran up there earlier this last year too, didn't they?
We're going to have to talk to our YouTube chat, because I apparently don't remember anything anymore. I just bragged about myself being a NASCAR encyclopedia, but I'm only an encyclopedia of stuff that happened like 25 years ago. If it happened recently, apparently I have no idea. I do know the trucks did go there. I just don't remember what year they went there.
Yeah.
Or hell if all I know. They might even be going there this year. I don't know. I know ARCA went there, but...
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
But then we will be headed back here on Thursday for the Florida State Builders Pro Series in the O'Reilly cars. And I guess that'll be interesting. We know how old school those cars drive, Cody, with the lack of downforce, the older bodies, the horsepower that they have. I almost wonder which one would be more of a challenge to get around this place.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the Xfinity car, just because these cars were kind of modeled after the road car, the GT3. So you would think, hey, these cars should be gripping up to the track more. It's modeled after a car that runs here pretty consistently on the road course. But then again, it's going to be interesting to see what the fall off is in that car, because one of the biggest complaints right now about this next gen car is that a lot of these tracks don't have tire wear, but we're seeing it today.
Yeah, we are certainly seeing tire wear. That was something that iRacing did fix a few builds ago, because there was a series of time where these next gens just basically did not wear tires. And Yes, that we will confirm. The trucks went there in 23 and 24, but it did not come back for 2025. The Milwaukee Mile did. But here is Jake Nichols looking underneath. That is Michael Curhan for the 7th spot, and there is some traffic ahead, both of which for position and a lap car. 54, of course, of Lake Bradshaw off the lead lap, but Van Drugman, remember, led 10 laps in this race, but now he is barely hanging on to a top 5. And then not too far ahead of that, that's James Scioli for 4th, or rather, pardon me, for 3rd. And going a little up the road, you'll find Scioli. So I guess Jake Nichols, he has 1 lap fresher tires than Van Drugman. He'll get that spot, but I don't know if he's going to get too much higher than that. He'd have to gain about 5 seconds.
Yes, and we're seeing a lot of gaps start to form here as you see the 28, the flagman at Hendry County battling the 88 car. That's another thing. Obviously, we do not have cautions here today, Corey, but something as simple as you see 2 lap cars battling each other in front of the leader, that could end up very bad for the top 3 as well.
Yeah, the wrong place at the wrong time. For Dylan Alt, it really doesn't matter because he is 15 seconds up on the field, and Sebastian Merritt, who was running faster laps in the opening stint comparative to Dylan Alt, now it is the inverse. He is running about 2 to 5 tenths a lap slower, and you can really see those splitters dragging here. We'll see what the lap time is this time by. Dylan put in a 47.37. There's a half second faster comparatively.
Yes, and it's very impressive to see what Dylan is kind of doing in the second stint. We thought we were going to have a closer battle there towards the end of the first run to the pits. And this run, Dylan Alt has just opened that gap more and more every lap.
And as long as he doesn't make a self-induced mistake, he will drive off into the Daytona victory lane, but that's still about 25 minutes away. Logan Helton, now he is outside of the top 10, -8 on the day, battling in the top 5 in the opening stages. Now Connor Horn on the inverse, he is up 16 spots on the day and running some good laps. His laps are probably up to about the 7th position pace-wise right now. So I don't know if he'll be able to get there, but he will certainly try. Going a little further back, Weishart and Pancari, that is 20th spot and 21st. Again, these drivers, I think, more so in survival mode. And then technically, oh, that's not a battle. Justin Levine pulling it into the pits with a significantly damaged front end. Oh, missed that. Something exiting the bus stop. Let's see. It says what not on his car, Cody. Well, that is what not to do.
Yes, and I believe I mentioned it in the pre-race. Hitting those sausage curbs coming out of the bus stop can send your car to do something like that you're not expecting, and then you're just along for the ride. But another thing to look at, those brake rotors are glowing bright red on all these guys right now. So obviously these brakes have a lot of heat in them, and it's going to be interesting to see if, and obviously there's no such thing as brake failure in iRacing quite yet, soon. But having that glow bright red is such a cool sight to see here at Daytona.
Yep. Yeah, there you go, right here on this drone cam, and I think it takes about getting up to about 4,000-ish, 1,200 degrees to get that visual. Of course, at night, it is super visual, but here during the day, it just shows the heat. But here is a good battle in Oval 3 and 4. Travis Beckner looking to the outside of Joseph Causey, doing the side draft through the oval on the outside. Causey will not be cleared. He'll be close enough to where he can make a move here into turn 1 and try to hold on to that spot.
Yeah, side by side going through turn 1, and this time nobody goes outside the track quite yet, but the 88 runs the 28 a little high, or wide. Yeah, wide. That's the word I was looking for there, Corey, as we head into the International Horseshoe.
Down in first gear, little bit of contact, and He'll get back on the throttle. First gear on a hot track on old tires. That is just not something that would be on my list of things I want to experience.
Yes, no, it is not something fun to experience right there, Corey. Something that else is kind of piquing my interest here. We may get into some heavy lap traffic here before this race is over. Looking at some of the lap times from 15th on back, it's about a second behind the leader. With these guys turning about 147s right now, and towards the back of the field, we're going to see some lap traffic come into play here with 12 to go.
Yeah, right now the last car on the lead lap, Max Service, is 1 minute 29 seconds behind, running about a second a lap slower, if not more than that, like you were saying. Maybe 2 seconds a lap. That means he'd lose 20 seconds. So yeah, it'd be right there on the cusp. And that's assuming no other mistakes are to be made here in the race. But as we close in on what will be 11 laps to go, about still 20 minutes of time. Again, Dylan Alt has been up front for 17 of the 31 laps. It was, who was it? It was Van Drugman for the first 10 laps, and I think it was James Scioli leading 2, and that's basically the gist of who has been up front. Had a good battle there, and eventually once Van Drugman kind of lost the clean air and fell into the back, he just hasn't been able to really dust it off and get back to that former self.
Yeah, no, he settled into that top 5 position in kind of a battle here with Seth Noel and Jake Nichols. They're all within about a second of one another. So this is a race that can become very interesting down to the line, and especially with the playoffs right around the corner, Corey.
Of course, only 2 races left after this, being Kansas, and then after Kansas, again, Talladega being our cutoff race, and then we'll start the chase at Chicagoland, the newly refreshed Chicagoland Speedway, no longer circa 2009. It actually looks up to pretty modern standards. Kudos to iRacing there for doing that. Of course, with the track being in the real world for probably 1 season, they got it up to pace here. But here's Curhan and Barroso battling into turn number 1, and there's those brake rotors on both of them, and neither backing down. And Barroso will come out on top for now.
Yeah, right there. And somebody kind of went wide there as well while that battle was going on, Corey. And like you mentioned, obviously Chicagoland is the thing a lot of drivers are looking forward to here as we go into that week, with it being a fresh scan.
It's not a fresh scan. It's just they made it pretty, but it's still the same 2010 level pavement.
So I didn't pay attention to the developer notes. So good job, Cody. But yes, obviously Chicagoland has always been a fan favorite in the real world and on the iRacing service. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after this year, Corey, with that. Obviously, the Chicago Street Course has been kind of talked about coming back. Another rumor I kind of heard is Montreal potentially making a comeback to replace the
Iowa,
San Diego Street Course.
Or that too, because I know Iowa, just to kind of fill some time with real life talk for a little bit. There was the rumor that prior to Iowa going on the schedule that they were actually trying to get Montreal, but they couldn't figure out all the international red tape that they needed to do. And technically, NASCAR has owned that track as Halton to the back bumper of Horn entering the bus stop. And evasive maneuvering by Helton. That's going to be a time cut penalty. But yes, they were trying to get Montreal on the schedule, and when they couldn't do it, I think the rumor is, and I lend credence to it, that they just said, well, we own Iowa, so F it, let's ball, and let's just go there. And fans have showed up. The racing has been okay, even with that hodgepodge pavement. So I think that'd be first on the chopping block. But yeah, like you said, they have to do something with San Diego, but also keep that SoCal presence that they ever so desire, even though they won't rebuild Auto Club.
Yeah, and that's a shame as well. Obviously getting into real life, and with them going to Mexico City last year, that kind of showed them how to operate a international race. Obviously that was a much farther distance traveled than it would be to go to Montreal. And one of the other hangups was that NASCAR has been looking for a June date for it, as you see a lot of guys kind of going wide through the bus stop right now. But that kind of cleared some of the red tape, and with Formula One running at Canada now in May, it kind of opens up that June date for them.
Of course, summer months coming. Obviously, people say, why isn't Daytona back on July 4th? Well, Daytona is a tourist track. It's a tourist area. They don't need NASCAR to fill tourist areas and hotels. That's why Daytona likes them in September or August, because that's when less people are here. I was here in 2023, but anywho, we are closing in on actually sub 10 laps to go here in this race, and just to, again, talk about some of our partners. And every time I talk about this partner, I like to bring Michael Curhan into play here. And why? Because he has an area hat on, and you can get yourself an area hat by heading to shop.areairacing.com for some high-quality merch at low prices with their newly revamped merch lineup: hats, t-shirts, Adidas clothing, and other accessories. Easy to shop, better to ship, better to wear. I always butcher that part of it, but shop.areairacing.com, and you can look as cool as Michael Curran.
Look at you shouting out specific drivers there, Corey, for wearing their merch. That is awesome to see that these drivers are in full support of their own league.
Absolutely.
That they run.
Of course, this league does have sponsorship behind it. It does have I think they said the largest prize pool. Of course, running in area, there are a lot of teams, and the teams are chartered. The team owners pay a charter fee to get into the league, and a certain amount of drivers in, and there are open cars, very, very much formulated to real life, and payouts for the champions for the races and whatnot. So this league is very upper echelon. We talked off air, Cody, a 5,000 I rating. We've seen higher. I know this is a road course, and I think because it's a road course, it's taking the road course rating, I believe. I'm not quite positive on how iRacing's calculating that.
Yeah, so they actually fixed that on iRacing now, where you can, if you host a oval car at a road course, it takes your oval iRating.
Okay,
now.
So we are getting that, but we are, I think, missing some heavy hitters too, just because they probably didn't want to play on the road, or some of our part-time drivers. Kwame Scott, known to come in here on occasion as well. But yeah, we are usually seeing ratings up in the 6,000s. This, of course, we have Coke drivers themselves here. This is, I've called this league when I talk about it to people and reference it in our broadcaster chats. This is Coke Junior. This is fixed setup. This is, as you said, not a setup shop versus setup shop, which is so big in the iRacing community. This is just the best drivers learning and just knowing how to drive the car, get the most out of it. Even if it's not how you like to drive the car, it's getting the most out of the car. I think that's what they always said about Dale Earnhardt. He could drive a car that he didn't like and still drive it quick. It's knowing how to adapt and run the fastest pace, and that is what these drivers do here in area.
Yes, Corey. And something else to consider, you just mentioned the Coke Junior. Coke, I believe, tomorrow is at the Naval Base in Coronado. So going from one extreme to another, as you can see the 13 car of Caldell spinning out in the West Horseshoe. So these tires are starting to get to the point, and you then see the 5 there spinning out as well, going through the Le Mans chicane.
I guess we're just going to call this our Benny Hill theme song reel. Justin Anasogak just completely missing the Le Mans chicane. Brandon Wilkins. In-N-Out Burger can get rid of their landscaper for the week, because the 22 will suffice the job there for them. Hopefully, I think that is up. We're up to date on spins and incidents of note here, but teammates here battling for the 5th spot. I didn't think Jake Nichols was going to get this high up on the lineup, but he is 27 seconds back. He is within striking range of Van Drugman. Of course, he's going to have to get by Seth Knoll first, but you can see just that car ahead of Jake Nichols. That's Seth Knoll, but then ahead of that, that's Van Drugman, and then technically ahead of that, that's James Scioli. So I don't know what kind of pace Nichols has, but a couple spots could be on offer if he can get his giddy up on.
Yeah, the field has definitely tightened in that third to kind of sixth place area with a 4-second gap separating them, as Sebastian Marin has kind of opened up a gap on Scioli here. But Dylan Alt is just gone. Everybody, he has cleared the field by 16.5 seconds with 7 to go, and it's impressive to see, Corey. Like I mentioned, with the mental fortitude kind of needed, you need to be locked in for all 42 laps. And again, that's an hour and a half of racing. That is not anything quick. That is focusing on one thing and eliminating all distractions in the outside world.
Well, I guess we do have to be a little bit real here as David Weishart goes off. We'll be real in just a second. Let's see what happens to Mr. Weishart. So much pavement there. So he hit the second to last curb there, and that car just never really recovered from it. And he is all the way to the inside pavement. I was on a tangent there, and I already lost what it was, so we'll see if it comes back. We still got about 5 minutes. Oh yeah, we got to be real, as if we are Jennifer Lopez and Ja Rule in 2001. We got to be real here, Cody. There is a lot of downtime here at Daytona, but when you are on it in the infield, you have to be on it. But when you are on the oval, I guess you can kind of relax just a little bit if you are running by yourself.
Yeah, even to a degree, though, with how this Cup car handles here at the road course, the track is bumpy. Daytona has aged quite a bit since its last repave, I believe, which was 2010 or 2011, if I remember right.
11.
I think it was in the summer of 2021 where they were, not 2021, 2011 where they repaved it, because obviously then that following year is when Juan Pablo Montoya hit the jet dryer.
It was off season 2010 because I remember Trevor Bayne's win. I'm 99% certain was on fresh blacktop.
And it was because that's when the tandem drafting started, was that Daytona race. But yeah, so the track has aged, and with this next gen, you want to keep your hands on the wheel. Yes, you can kind of relax a little, but it's really an hour and not an hour and 40-minute lap. A minute and 40-minute lap of just focus.
I think that's like Isle of Man status there. Actually, it's probably not even that long, but I'm actually shocked I even thought of Isle of Man here. But closest battle really on the raceway right now is Raceway. I don't know why I called it that. I'm so used to oval racing. Closest battle on the racetrack would be Jake Nichols and Seth Knoll. They are within close proximity, and that's Van Drugman.
And he just nosed it into the wall there as well.
And that'll put him out of the top 5, where he's been all race. He got crossed up there. Allen Iverson in his prime got crossed up and lost it on the curbs.
Yeah, and that is that curb just said you're done, pretty much. It did not give him any option there to miss that wall. But yeah, as you mentioned, the battle is on right now for 4th place. Both these guys in the top 5 position, both having great point stays.
Oh, again!
When it rains, it pours.
Isn't that Luke Combs?
Yep, that is Luke Combs. I spent $5 on a scratch-off ticket.
Yeah, he just made those tires big mad and into that wall again. And now he is just, you can see the front end damage. He's in 10th. Now he is just on survival mode. Try to chug along for about 7.5 more minutes of racing. As I will say, you called it, Cody. You're on point. Dylan Alt having a little bit of traffic. Luckily, he has every ability to just cruise through it.
Yeah, and you hope at this point in the race as well, Corey, that these guys kind of understand where they are on track. Obviously, they're kind of in their own battle at the same point, but with the leader right behind, and 19 seconds is nothing to slouch at. That is a giant gap, as it looks like the 71 car is going to go wide here and make that pass easy for him.
Yep, and then just ahead of that is Seth Berger in the number 77, as we do have Seth Knoll and Jake Nichols. Nichols being the passee right here with his teammate Seth Knoll, and has the draft, has the momentum, but the ideal line going to Knoll on the inside of the racetrack. We'll see who will drive in deeper, and it's going to be about equal, but the geometric better line by the 1 will allow him to maintain the spot for now.
Yeah, for now is the key word. The 73 is going to get a giant run. I'm surprised that the 56 is still out on track with the damage he got. Normally that is a race ender, and I'm sure his tire temps are not agreeing with him, but you see there the 1 gets a little loose, but Jake Nichols is not able to capitalize there and kind of gave the 1 there a break.
I'm sure Van Drugman's oil temps and air temps aren't doing too well. He loses another spot to Reese Schaefer in the 97, now back to the 12th spot. He is 48 seconds back of the leader. He has 10 seconds in his arrears to Mr. Excitement, who has kind of calmed his pace down here. So I don't know if Van Drugman will fall that far back, but now we have Frankie Barroso and Michael Curhan. This is 6th and 7th on the racetrack, and I don't think Seth Knoll is going to get any higher up. Jake Nichols there. Did I call them teammates? They're going to yell at me. They're not teammates. I don't know why I said that.
You did, but
Wait,
that's
did
okay,
I?
Corey. Yeah, you did earlier.
Wait, hold the phone here. I get people confused all the time. And Solar Flare. Yeah, they are Solar Flare. They are teammates. Okay. I'm losing my mind even though I have it on at the same time. So, it's been a long week, folks. Just had to shell $1,000 out of my savings account out for tires that I weren't prepared to buy. So, brain's a little foggy right now because my wallet is rather light. So, don't mind me. I just work here. But 73 is still battling. They are going at it. You remember he tried to take it, didn't happen, and now he's making another stab at it.
Yeah, and I hate to break it to you though, Corey. You said it's been a long week already. It's only Monday. So you still got 6 more days of this week to go. But yes, the 73 right back on the back bumper of the 1.
And we are now closing in on 2 laps to go. About 2.5. And Travis Beckner deciding to partake in the donut activity that everyone's been doing here in the bus stop. Just did some Air Jordans over those. Actually, that was a weird one. He really didn't get over those backstretch curbs, but remember, they are 3D rendered rumble strips now. They're not like they used to be years ago. So if you do hit them the wrong way, I guess it is still possible to launch off of them.
Yeah, and something else to look at with the 28 car of Travis Beckner. He's up 19 positions since the start of this race. Obviously, there's been some attrition here as we've gone along, but that's quite impressive here at this road course.
It is. We have seen those comers and goers through the field. Connor Horn being another one, as well as here is Nichols closing in on teammate Skyholi for Solar Flare there. Didn't really get the run he would desire this time through. But he'll try it again because he doesn't have many more opportunities. But Dylan Alt has taken 2 laps to go with that 17-second lead. Again, he has led what will be 27, probably 29 laps if all goes to plan here on the day. He quite literally just has to cruise just past Patrick Moose. Next lapper would be Bryce Senesac, who is about, 12 seconds. So Bryce should be safe from the axe there. And I'll tell you there, Cody, at a road course like this, I almost want to be a lap down, because when you're struggling and hanging on for dear life, you're sweating, your race is going terrible, I almost want to get the race over a lap sooner.
Oh, Corey, that is one of my favorite things in the world when I would go a lap down at a road course. It just meant one more less lap that I had to run in a car that I may not necessarily agree with. Obviously, these guys all want to finish on the lead lap here today, but at the same point, like you said, car struggling, yeah, I'm good not doing one more lap.
Yeah, of course, a lot of opportunities here, and we will just get in some information too. Dylan Alt, again, he had a really good start to the season at Daytona. And he got the pole. He won one of the duels. The 500 didn't go his way, and then his season just went astray here as we go to the white flag lap. But with a win here, he's 37 points out of the top 20, and he would get one of the wild card spots into the playoffs if he can get a win, because it would put him into the top 20. He'd make it in the playoffs if he gets into the top 20 in points. That's what we had told from the boss man. So this is a very important win for him, getting into that chase for the 47. And he's a fast driver, hasn't had luck, and no luck really to be had here, Cody. This is pure skill that's going to get him a win here tonight.
Yeah, pure talent has come out and shown here today at the Daytona road course as we head into the West chicane for the final time. It looks like he is going to have one more lapper that he kind of has to deal with on the backstretch here going into the Le Mans chicane. But at the same point, he has just kind of wiped the field, and nobody has had anything for him all day.
Now, I did just say Bryce Senesac I thought was going to be safe from staying on the lead lap, but evidently he must have had an issue, but he's not. Dylan not really going to have any concerns to take his time or rush by, because he has plenty of real estate behind him to Sebastian Marin, who's 23 seconds back there in the second spot. Heading down the backstretch for the final time here, 28th in the points, 93 behind the cut line. This will be huge, but he's battling more for the top 20, and he's going to get himself in a very, very good position. He's been in all 9 races this season. He has the pace to go for a championship if he can get the luck to go his way. And finally, where he got the Area 500 pole and started the season off with a trophy in the Daytona qualifying, he's going to get himself a Daytona trophy in the race, and he's going to win here in dominating fashion at the road course.
Seconds, Corey. That is a giant gap to have, as right now we can see Sebastian Marin not even through oval 3 and 4 coming onto the front stretch now, and it looks like he is going to take second place here today at the Daytona road course.
Yeah, I'll put it in second place, and then we'll go back further here to James Scioli, and that will be another win, another top 3 on the season, a solid run for him. Of course, Dylan Alt getting another win on the season. I forgot about at Sonoma, so he is clearly the road course dominator. And unfortunately for him, if he does make it into the chase, we don't have a road course. But Dylan Alt getting the win, and that will certainly bolster him into the playoffs, into the chase picture. Logan Helton just crosses the stripe and just says, I want out as quickly as possible. So we do still have drivers running on the racetrack. This is actually a live battle here for the 17th spot. This is, again, how long it takes to finish the race here.
Yeah, and so far it looks like the 28 there of Beckner is going to hold him off coming out of there, and the 00 is going to go sideways, and that battle is now over, Corey.
Dylan Alt here just doing his cool down lap. I'm assuming the race is over because Oh! Well, that's how you make sure it passes tech.
Oh, it's still
okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, he's making sure that one doesn't get sent to the R&D hauler after today's race. But anyways, a fabulous job here today by the Area Cup guys. Let's go down and give you the final rundown of results here today from Daytona Road. Getting the win by a final margin of 25 seconds is going to be Dylan Alt over Sebastian Marin, James Scioli with the 3rd, Seth Knoll in 4th, Jake Nichols in 5th, Michael Curhan in 6th, Frankie Barroso, Jacob Harberts, Connor Horn, and Logan Helton survives for a top 10.
Finishing 11th is going to be Reese Schaefer. 12th is going to be Van Drugman after a very good start to the race. 13th is going to be Drew Jua, sorry. I apologize for that. Finishing 13th. Josh Cadell is going to finish 14th. 15th is going to be Joseph Causey. 16th is going to be Jarrett Tall. I'm going to need your help here, Corey.
Talmadge. And we got Beckner, Swank, Senesac, Ed Moose. I'll put you out of your misery, and we'll let the rest of them scroll on by because everybody here obviously did not have a fun time here at the Daytona Road Course, and Zach Nerney did not take to our grid here this evening. But we'll head to Victory Circle where we find Dylan Alt. I had to scroll back and find your car in looking good because obviously your post-race festivities destroyed the car, but you destroyed the field here today, man, keeping that road course trend alive, up 25 seconds on Marin. How does this one feel?
Hey, it feels pretty good. I know that race definitely wasn't perfect at all. I know I couldn't even make it back to the start finish line. I ran out of fuel, and so then I was trying to find the area Discord and just ran straight in the wall. But yeah, beginning of the race had not much confidence because all of us Coke guys been running laps at San Diego, and then immediately once I loaded in here, back temp is so hot. And I ran a lap. The car is just on ice skates. It's just you can't even really go anywhere. And I see Van running meters left and right, and I just know that he probably spent a lot more time practicing for this. And I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm going to run this race. Just wanted to hit a good Q lap and then just run and vibe behind him. And so I was just chilling. And I'm running a completely different brake package than I am at San Diego, which is different. And I know my teammate Seb ran a different brake package, and I think he struggled a little more than I did, and I was just trying to be as consistent as possible. But I know that first stint before we pit, I was all over Van, and I kept thinking I was going to kill him because I kept missing my brakes. I don't know if you guys ever saw me just completely miss the corner and almost spin out many times. But yeah, I wanted to race Van. It would have been fun, but yeah, that second stint, just try to stay consistent and ended up running away with it.
Absolutely. And it was fun to watch that battle. And obviously he had his issues, spun out a few times in the back. But according to the boss man, I know your season, you've run all the races and they really haven't gone your way outside of Sonoma. But this would put you probably into position to get into the chase with the top 20. So do you feel like being able to get in there, you'd have something to fight with once the chase starts if you can manage to get in there?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm struggling with in this league. I feel like if I run A Open, A Fix, I'm just fine. Coke, I'm not fine. And Area, I'm not fine at an oval. I don't know why. I think my luck is a little bad, but also I'm just making stupid mistakes. But other than that, if I figure out how to actually qualify and do well, I'm going to be great. But yeah, I just want to thank SimMotion, Boyd Automotive, and you guys for broadcasting this, and the whole league and everyone racing it. And yeah.
Absolutely, man. Great job here today, and we'll catch you at Kansas.
Thank you.
And second place on the day, Sebastian Marin. Started fourth, finished second. A day that you didn't have to start at the back, but man, that 47 just had it dialed here today, but not too much of a slouch run for yourself, man.
Yeah, considering I wrecked like 4 times, I'd take running P2 to Dylan any day. Just having a terrible tough time breaking into the horseshoe corners. Just kept locking up the rears. I think the brake cylinders I ended up running were just a little not optimum, so I was just trying to hang on as soon as we had like 5-10 laps into the run. And yeah, there at the last run, it was almost perfect, and then I started talking. The last couple laps kept going off track, so almost gave it away. But yeah, I'll take a P2 any day of the week here.
Yeah, just kind of talk about, man, the tire deck here. Of course, Daytona, we're not running the NASCAR modified layout here. How much pace did you have to back off, or how much adjustment did you have to do over the run? You know, you're going 208 into turn 1, you're going 200 entering the backstretch. How difficult was it maintaining the tires at these super high rates of speed here in these braking zones?
Yeah, the tires this race were huge. It was mainly the track temp being so hot. I mean, we were just spinning tires out of every corner, so it was just hard not to spin. The high speed, turn 1 and the backstretch was tough, but once you found your brake zone, you can kind of hit the line every now and then. It was just more of the slow corners. They just chewed up the rear tires like crazy. So it was a handful. It was a lot of fun. If I could, I would run it back differently, and maybe, would have probably most likely not beaten Dylan, but at least would have ran not as far back as we did. But overall, good race.
Absolutely. You put yourself back in the top 12, even though you missed a race. So you put yourself back in the top 12, so that's good. But give you the floor for any shout outs or final words you want to offer.
Yeah, just shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Shout out to LVD for letting me be on board, and Juicy Spider, and every other sponsor that's on the car that I don't remember. I apologize. And shout out to Area for putting on these races. I've definitely enjoyed these hotter races, so I think if they continue this up, it would be a lot more fun. So,
all right, man. Well, great job. Always fun watching you, and we'll catch you soon, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good night.
And then just wrapping up the podium here today, James Scioli with the third here, having some good runs. You had some pace at times. Well, not at times. You had pace all run, but of course with no caution to be able to get a reset to challenge. You just had to do the best with what you could. But just talk about how you got your third here today.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the speed. I was pretty good the first run. Everybody started really dying on the rear tires, and I felt like I did a pretty good job saving them to where I could make good pace at the end of that run. And was just kind of hoping that the same thing would happen in the second run, but track was cooling down a little bit. Track was rubbering up, and those guys are just too good. They're going to make adjustments the second run and be better. So I tried to run long, hoping fresh tires towards the end would help, but I just didn't quite have the pace that I needed that second run. So overall, really happy with third though. Started fifth and just didn't really go off track, didn't really drop any wheels, was just trying to make sure that I hit my marks on entry, and that was really helping me just get good exits and stay clean the whole run.
Absolutely. A boring day or a calm day is not a bad day at all. And 2 races left in the regular season. Of course, Kansas and Dega, you are looking pretty with a 19-point advantage for the regular season title. But we got, obviously, Talladega in the mix. You're comfortable that you'll be able to keep that regular season championship alive?
We'll have to see. I feel good for Kansas. Talladega, you just never know. So, anything could happen. Just going to try and run up front there and see what we can do. Just try and stay clean and keep having good runs like we've been having for sure. So that's all you can really do, and just hope that you don't get wrecked. Just hope that you stay clean, and if we can do that, then we'll have a pretty good points advantage starting the playoffs, and that'll definitely help for sure.
Absolutely. It'll be fun to watch, and we know you'll put on a show for us, but any final words before we let you go?
Yeah, big shout out to you guys for broadcasting these races. A couple good battles in there, so excited to go back and watch that. Thanks to the admin team for helping us out here on Monday nights. Big shout out to Solar Flare, finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th, so great team points day again. I think we're still leading the championship pretty good over there, so pretty pumped on that. And then shout out Sim Speed Shop, JWR Race Cars, Solar Flare Shop for being on the car, and hopefully we have another good run this Thursday.
Absolutely. Right back here at the Daytona Road Course in the O'Reilly cars. We'll look forward to it, man, and we'll see you then.
So yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Now, Cody, even though our winner win, Dylan won by 25 seconds. See, we all can't talk sometimes. Even though the winner won by 25 seconds, we still had a lot of battling, a lot of good moments, and a lot of drivers struggling, but a fun race to watch here tonight.
Absolutely, Corey, and this turned out to be a great race here at the Daytona Road Course. All side-by-side racing into multiple corners, very little contact between the drivers, and in the end, the best driver showed out on top and won by 25 seconds, but sometimes the gap of the lead isn't the race that's going on behind.
Absolutely, and doesn't always tell the tale. It was a fun one to watch. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe at PTR TV. Consider liking and following on the Twitch side. $5 a month, custom emotes, double points, and get those double points into free merch in due course. Stay tuned for tomorrow night with the Area Truck Series at Milwaukee. We will also be live here on the dual streaming with the Triple Bypass Series. A lot of content. Would love to have you guys watching all of these shows with us. So stay tuned and subscribe for more. But that's going to be Corey and Cody signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.